Ladies and gentlemen, it is the biggest night in cord cutting. Welcome to the 2024 Killies Awards. This is the biggest night in podcasting. Everyone is here in the audience to witness some of our most beloved TV shows, movies, and the awards that they absolutely deserve. Brian, are you excited?
Oh, the electricity is electric here, Tom. The crowds are thronging. The throngs are thronging. It truly is that most magical time of year.
It is like a thong song, isn't it, Amos?
Well, we just heard Cisco finish up his set as the intro group. So this is very much a thonging situation, and I've never seen James Cameron dance that way, but it was definitely a sight to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are about to begin with our first award. Awarding Best Successor to a Beloved Franchise. Please welcome Tom Merritt. It's a beautiful honor to be able to offer this award for Best Successor to a Beloved Franchise, something that you can't do unless there's already been a beloved franchise. So that's something to think about. And the nominees are Barney's World, Chimp Crazy, Fargo, and True Detective. And the Killie goes to, for Best Successor to a Beloved Franchise, True Detective.
Whoa! Okay, all right, we go now to the judges. Tom, why did you pick True Detective?
Because this just shocked me how good it was. Every True Detective feels like, well, it's not as good as that first one, and I just loved it. I enjoyed the crap out of this one.
This is the one that has, is it Jodie Foster in it?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, and it takes place in Alaska, where Amos is.
Yeah,
and so
normally tonight I'm here on the Killies floor.
Well, yeah, usually
that's right. Part of what works with True Detective is there's usually a second layer. I think the Vince Vaughn year was like a corruption layer, and you had the kind of hallucinogenic layer in the first one. What's the spicy layer?
Well, that's a good question. It's kind of an authority, like a authority and struggle between the population and the authorities, civil unrest kind of theme going through it. Yeah.
But it's really mirrored with the mystery of the episodes as well.
Class struggle.
Yeah.
All of that.
So let's talk about the other nominees. I'm surprised that it beat Fargo, because Fargo season 5 was just incredible. I
think it's on the surprise. Fargo season 5 was great. And so was Fargo season 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Whereas True Detective has been a little bit
True
more
Detective
of a roller
season 2, 3 was better. I feel like, and then they changed out staff on True Detective. Fargo's got, a consistent show running team all the way through. So, I thought Barney's World had a shot at it though.
Okay, so is Barney's World a sincere nomination from you, Amos?
Yeah, it's actually I met one of the ladies that works on it when I was visiting a Taylor Swift concert, and I came home and was like, "Hey, did you know there's a new Barney out?" And both of my kids, my 12 and 9-year-old, were like, "Yeah, it's pretty good."
Really?
Like, really?
All right.
So that was that's a real hookup. I mean, if both my kids like it, that's pretty rare for them both to like the same show.
And you definitely sang the praises of Chimp Crazy this year, Brian.
Yeah, and it did a great job of capturing that same kind of like the crazy world just next door. They certainly found a character who's every bit as out there as the main character of Tiger King. I like the fact that it's a much shorter series. It's only 4 episodes long, I think, but each one ends with a jaw dropper of a twist, and knowing that it's all real and having them own the difficulties of making this with the reputation that they built with Tiger King was just fascinating. I liked it a lot.
And now, presenting the award for Best Is This Really Happening? Movie, Brian Brushwood.
Reality. Is it real? or a fiction? Some say maybe, others aren't so sure. When you go to a movie, are you playing it or is it playing you? Okay, the nominees for Best Is This Really Happening movie are The Substance, The Beekeeper, The Wild Robot, and House of the Dragon, which is not even a movie. And the winner is The Beekeeper.
Keep those bees. Keep those bees. Keep those bees.
This one won for me. One of the things I love about the Killies is going back and I remember, for those of you guys who don't know, in the show document, we, jot down things that we're watching. And for years, Tom was like, Brian, you just need to put one thing down. We ended up putting a second column in there because I kept putting down multiple things, specifically because I love kind of having a log of what I've been watching at various times. I had forgotten that Beekeeper was a 2024 experience that I saw twice in the theater because I just wanted to go see a dumb action movie. Did not expect it to get as bonkers as it does. It begins just as I love my bees. And I'm going to avenge my bees. And then it becomes so over the top. I guess whatever, I'll spoil it for you. It eventually goes all the way to the president of the United States.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's the John Wick of bees.
It really is. It's so much fun. And then my nomination consolation prize went to The Wild Robot, specifically because I went into that movie actively prepared to hate it. And in the first 30 seconds, I'm like, oh, it's one of these movies, is it? And it snuck up on me, got me good.
It's that kind of, is this really happening? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, wait, are you somehow taking the most familiar trope I could possibly imagine in the most cliche way and making it sing in a way that just shocked me? Like, there's a lot of animals that die in this movie because there's predators and prey working side by side, and they do a token nod. Like, they'll have a kid die and a mom go, I got 6 more, and then they'll let it sit for a full minute.
Wow.
Before the kid is like, I'm okay. She's like, great. The token response of I really enjoyed that as well. But
I picked The Substance just because, and I haven't seen it, but it's a cliche Hollywood story that turns to body horror. So it seems like the quintessential, is this really happening? If you're watching,
and the buzz is very, very positive.
Yeah. Amos, why did you pick a TV show for this category?
So I've now watched 10 seasons of Game of Thrones content. And this season, the second season of House of the Dragon, felt more like a continuous story than any previous season did. So much so that I would stop it in the middle of an episode, come back and just start watching. And then when the little intro between the episodes came along, I was like, just skip that, just keep going. And it just felt completely seamless other than those mandatory episode breaks. And as far as it being a movie, it's one continuous story. There's not a separate lines or anything else. It's just one big experience. And I thought that counted. So screw it.
And now, presenting the award for Best Cross-Generational Entertainment, please welcome Amos.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be up here amongst all of my peers and look out around the crowd and see that I get to announce the best cross-generational entertainment of 2024. Lots of nominees. Let's get through those. First of all, we've got Moon Girl and the Devil Dinosaur, Bluey, Pokemon Journeys, and The Daily Show. And the winner is, give it up for Bluey.
You're damn right. Yeah, we just got done recording this week's main show, and we were singing the praises of I've yet to hear one bad word said about Bluey.
Yeah, other than a curse word that is from Bluey.
Even then, that was almost entirely a compliment, right?
Yeah. I threw Pokemon Journeys in here because it's a hit kid show that my nieces are way into. But honestly, Bluey blows that away.
I haven't seen a show that I could watch with my kids and have just as much fun knowing the adult jokes without bothering them with it since Phineas and Ferb. It's really, and it takes that level and just blows it way up. It's so good, and everybody in the family can watch the show. There's nothing you can, like, you wouldn't turn the show off. I don't know anybody that would turn the show off if it was just randomly on your TV.
Why the Daily Show as a nominee?
That came in close second because my kids and I both watch that, and we watch different segments of it. And gotcha. It's fun and it's entertaining, and it actually comes up a few times in my nominees for things because but not just didn't quite win as much as I would hope it would. But it happens.
Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
Oh yeah, that's one that on the road when you have 3 girls all packed into a hotel room, you watch linear television, and so this is one that I knew the characters from playing the Marvel Snap mobile game, but then seeing the execution of the show is just a delight. It's a great show.
Yeah, fantastic.
Nice.
And now
presenting the award for dueling announcers
is
in Best Post-Apocalyptic Mystery. Please welcome Todd Merritt.
Oh,
Apocalypse. Now or later? Post-apocalypse means later. That's why I'm excited to announce these nominees for Best Post-Apocalyptic Mystery. The nominees are Furiosa, The Daily Show, CeeLo, and Fallout. And the winner is Silo.
Oh, wait. Oh, wow. So now the fact that Silo came out ahead, does that mean you think it's a better show or a better mystery?
Yes, I think it's a better mystery. In fact, I went with Silo, pulling back the curtain. I wanted to give Silo award. So I said best post-apocalyptic mystery. And then I thought, what's another post-apocalyptic mystery show? And I had to stretch a little to come up with Fallout, because while it has mysteries in it, it isn't itself so much of a mystery, whereas Silo is entirely centered around the mystery. Not that Fallout doesn't have tons of mystery, don't get me wrong. So yeah, I think they're both very good shows in different ways.
Yeah, post-apocalyptic mystery is a very specific genre. I had to squint pretty hard to wedge Furiosa in there, and even then I'm glad it didn't win, because it didn't do much for me.
And the Daily Show, I'll just say, are you alive right now? Do you understand what's going on? Because I don't.
Oh, that's cultural commentary.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. Oh no, I picked up on that.
I see what you did there, Amos.
And that is all I will say.
All right.
No, you're just getting played off. No. And now, with the award for best proof that you shouldn't be afraid of adaptations, Brian Brushwood.
Oh my gosh, guys, this one is personal and near and dear to my heart. I love the fact that we're getting to pick these categories. This is a drum I've been banging for years and years and years. Cowboy Bebop, so many movies and based on video games and animes and so on. I have put on a brave face for all of them, but this one's personal. The nominees are The Last of Us, Matlock, Arcane, and Fallout. And the winner is Fallout! Yeah, dude, Fallout was the first adaptation that was coming that I was like, oh, this one's going to hurt if it's not good. And I realized it's the tattoo problem. It's like once you have built in, and keep in mind, like right now, I'm wearing, my watch is a Pip-Boy, is the face on it. And when you wrap a bit of your identity into a thing, ooh, are you scared to have anybody touch it? Because you don't want to suddenly have a tattoo of something that ends up being an embarrassment.
Yeah, that happened with my mom.
You had a tattoo of your
mom, the classic
tattoo.
Mom tattoo.
Oh, okay.
Get it? No. I shouldn't joke, because that actually is all true. And Fallout ended up being good.
Yes, very good
So
and
good.
very authentic, which I thought it was, you'd have to pick one lane or the other, either good or authentic to the original source, but it turns out it was able to do both. Matlock, from what I hear, is able to do a similar thing. And Tom, you picked The Last of Us, which at first I was like, how did I miss that? And then the answer that popped into my head was, I already experienced all this with the video game. It was just exactly the video game.
It just falls it falls short of the winning level because of that, right?
Yeah.
Whereas
Fallout feels like the next Fallout video game, only in TV show form.
Only in TV show form.
Yeah. Whereas The Last of Us was an authentic telling, which, by the way, Amos, my kids are all on me for your nomination of Arcane. I did watch season 1. It was very, very good. I'm told season 2 holds up.
I've heard so much about it that when I saw that, you should be afraid of adaptations. My son broke it down during our road trip about how you change just the slightest few things from the game and everybody groans, but then the show comes out and it's like the show's even better than the lore of the game. Like the people that watch the show want them to retrofit the lore of the game into the show because the show is that good. And I was like, that's gotta be in here somewhere. So yeah, that's
strong nominees on this category. Even Matlock, like you said, is getting rave reviews. So yeah, very adaptation of a TV show, I guess, but still totally counts.
Yeah.
From the hit shows Cordkillers, Ritual Misery, and Daily Tech News Show, please welcome Amos.
The ability to have comedy late at night to seal your day can really enlighten your life. And those that do not have the wherewithal to stay up late and watch those shows must catch it on the TikTok. And thankfully, all of our nominees tonight have been on the TikTok. For best late night comedy, the nominees are Saturday Night Live, The Amber Ruffin Show, After Midnight, and The Daily Show. And the winner is After Midnight.
Oh! Tell me about After Midnight. I don't know nothing.
So Taylor Tomlinson got this job. She, this is a spot after Colbert or whatever, and it's basically a game show where she takes on these comedians and comes up with these ridiculous categories. Something completely familiar to us.
Yeah,
it's the Hartwig Show
at midnight.
Yeah, it's a similar format to that. Yeah,
it's just After Midnight, and it's hosted by Taylor Tomlinson, one of my favorite comedians. And it's just good humor consistently. It delivers each night something fun to watch and something I laugh out loud every time I pass a clip of it. So really enjoy the show. The Daily Show, again, it's a great late night show, lots of comedy and stuff like that, but it didn't have the novelty that After Midnight had.
Man, always a bridesmaid for you, never the bride.
I'll admit, like, I didn't know what to put in there, so I just put in Saturday Night Live, just because it's the only one that pierced my bubble and had clips make it to me.
And it's kind of goodish again, it's come back quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, this season in particular, well, this year, I would say, because the last half of last season and then the first half of this season have really been well produced, and there's a lot of really rich comedy coming out of that set right now. It's really good.
Oh, you know what? If we could give an honorable mention, a little tip of the hat to the New York Times, if you could believe it. They're hiring the Gregory brothers of Auto-Tune the News fame to do the exact type of programming that you would get from this late night comedy stuff.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
I had Saturday Night Live in here too, and then realized that you and I both had put it in there. So I changed it to the Amber Ruffin Show. Just because ChatGPT told me to.
Have you ever watched the Amber Ruffin Show?
No, I haven't.
Okay, that's amazing.
I was desperate. And I was like, ChatGPT, tell me what should win best late night comedy if SNL, The Daily Show, and After Midnight are not options. And it's like, how about the Amber Ruffin Show from Peacock? And I'm like, great.
You got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the Best food reality show. Dr. Thomas Moritz.
I realize not everyone eats food, but for those who do, reality, it really bites. Here are the nominees for Best Food Reality Show. Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, Ginny's Kitchen, and Culinary Class Wars. And the Killie goes to Culinary Class Wars!
Oh! Yeah, you guys have been really excited about this one. Apparently, the quiet commentary on classism was exactly what the genre of food prep reality needed.
I mean,
I wouldn't call it quiet commentary.
It's there in True Detective. It's in Squid Game. Yeah, I mean, it had good judges. It had an interesting premise. It had some really interesting challenges. Like in one challenge, they were given faux convenience stores, and they could only make like gourmet quality food using the ingredients you would get in a convenience store. I don't know. I thought it was really inventive and good. Ginny's Kitchen is just one of my faves. It's on Amazon Prime Video, and it's actors who get sent to somewhat remote vacation destinations and have to run a kitchen, run a like a snack bar or a restaurant for like a week.
But this is all reality or still?
Yeah. It's reality. They are running an actual they are running an actual restaurant for a week. It's like a pop-up restaurant.
Yeah, Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat is less reality and more on the scene, kind of Anthony Bourdain style, but it brings a lot of the science that I love from Alton Brown.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Into it. So it fits as in it's a food show and they do it in locations as opposed to, it's not scripted, but yeah, it didn't measure up to Culinary Class Wars, but it's definitely worthy of a mention.
And now, the host of The Modern Rogue, please welcome Brian Brushwood.
Fake outs, switcheroos, whoopsie doodles, all things that seem to be one thing and then turn out to be something else. Presenting the nominees for Best Movie that pretends to be one movie but is secretly another movie. The nominees are The Beekeeper, Rebel Ridge, Beetlejuice, and Hitman. And the winner of the Killie goes to Hitman!
Woo!
Hitman was a big surprise to me. It starts off looking like a dissection of the true story of a guy who was helping out the cops with some AV stuff and ends up having to go undercover as a hitman to entrap would-be hitmen.
Yeah.
Turns out about the 1/3 mark, you're like, wait a minute. Are they doing a romantic comedy? Turns out they're doing a romantic comedy. It's a lot of fun, and it suckers you in. It's really, really great. Also, Rebel Ridge looks like it's Rambo First Blood, but it's unironically a movie about illegal civil asset forfeiture abuse, which I just loved. The Beekeeper, Tom's nomination pick, I think, we already talked about what a surprise.
Yeah. It's John Wick in bees clothing, basically.
So Amos, tell us a bit about what you thought Beetlejuice was going to be and what it turned out to be.
I thought it was going to be Michael Keaton jumping around, making ridiculous, sounds and being Beetlejuice. And the movie turned out to be more like, what if Wednesday Addams wasn't an Addams and had like an alternate life, a somewhat calmer life? Because the movie I expected it to be a Beetlejuice movie, and it just turned out to be Jenna Ortega being awesome for 2 hours. So
kind of love now. I want to see it, given that description.
It was great. It was a lot of fun.
I expected the fun to come from Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder, and it didn't. It came from Jenna Ortega and the rest of the cast instead, and that was the surprise there.
Good move.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, fantastic.
I think Michael Keaton has like all of 4 words in it.
Presenting the award for the best show I wish I cared about. Please welcome Amos.
Sometimes there's a lot of hype around a show, but you just can't be bothered to care. Tonight's nominees: The Crown, Lower Decks, Amazon's Election Night Special, and Shogun. And the winner that I just could not care about, Shogun.
So wait.
Oh, wait, should I be cheering?
Is this
So the category is it's a great show. You're like, I just can't care.
I just can't. Lower Decks. I'm not. Something about a cartoon for Star Trek doesn't do anything for me. And Shogun, I heard so much about it, and every time I heard about it, I was like, that sounds like an awesome show for you to watch.
Man, I feel that way about so many things where somebody's telling me, I'm like, that sounds like you love it.
Yeah.
So I put a nomination for Amazon's Election Night Special because we had talked about how I perceive that there's an opening for unbiased, nonpartisan election coverage. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it was up competing with our coverage via politics.
Sure. Yeah. I threw The Crown in here because, and honestly, it was up for an abandonee for me as well. We just kind of stopped. We started the last season, watched a couple episodes, and then never just went back. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I got too close to our lived experience, not too close to the present so much as oh yeah, no, we saw all this happen, right? The stuff that happened in the 50s and 60s, I've read about it, but this is interesting to see it recreated. And as we got into the Diana stuff, I'm like, no, I actually remember watching this on television. So
did it start to tickle you were disagreeing with the representation of stuff, or
not even so much that as
boredom with repeating the material?
Anything that was a real mystery we knew about, and everything that was not real, we're like, well, that didn't happen. So, there wasn't enough convincing, what you didn't know was kind of stuff, at least not for me, maybe.
Right.
Makes sense.
And now, presenting the award for Best K-Drama, Tom Merritt.
What is a K? Is it a kilometer? Is it Kelvin? Or is it a drama made in Seoul, Korea? Well, the answer is the last one for this category. Here are the nominees for Best K-Drama: Squid Game, Lovely Runner, Matlock, and Queen of Tears. And the Killie goes to Queen of Tears.
Oh! Tell me about Queen of Tears, because I put Matlock because I couldn't think of any K-dramas.
And you're like, Matlock has a K in it. Queen of Tears is about a woman who is in a loveless relationship, and her husband is about to divorce her when she gets the news that she's dying of cancer. And then it becomes kind of a comedy about him trying to decide, well, should I divorce her or just wait for her to die?
Oh, you have mentioned a bit about this. So this one really landed for you.
Yeah, and it's pretty widely popular as well. It's got an amazing cast. It's got a really compelling storyline. There's an international aspect because she goes to Switzerland at one point, and then this is a love story. So I don't think it's too much of a spoiler that as this is all playing out, they kind of rediscover feelings for each other and all of that. And there's a lot of business intrigue and international finance and stuff. Lovely Runner, I could easily have put in the top slot. It is about a woman who is a fan of this musician, and then gets sent back in time only to realize that musician went to her high school. And so she changes the past so they meet in the past. And then she gets sent back to the future, and it's like, oh, she's changed the future. And it's sort of this time travel, love romance situation. What's Squid Game about, Amos?
Well,
we don't know yet, but it's likely to be the only K-drama I watched this year. So we'll find out in about 3 days.
We included it as a nomination, kind of as a tip of the hat to our friends over the Golden Globes,
yeah, right.
who have done the same thing. But how confident are you, Tom, that Queen of Tears will remain your winner of the Killies after Squid Game comes out?
No, good question. There's also a couple others I'm watching now that are, in my opinion, kind of running for the Queen of Tears crown as well. But I have a feeling Squid Game is going to be pretty amazing. I would like to call out Golden Globes for not having the balls to announce the winner before it came out, the way we are doing right now. So.
Yeah. Where are your globes now, Goldie?
Not so golden from where I'm sitting. And now, with the winner of Best WTF Series, Brian Brushwood.
What the fun is what WTF means. And the nominees are... It's Florida, man. Fallout. Chimp Crazy. And Chicken Nuggets. And the winner of the best WTF series goes to... The Killie goes to... Chimp Crazy! Yay! Unfortunately, I can't really tell you much more. You're going to have to watch it. It's a true story. It's gonzo journalism. It's bonkers. But I also put in there, It's Florida, man. To be honest, it's worth just watching the first episode of It's Florida, man. If you're not familiar with the conceit, they're all true tales of Florida men stories told by the Florida Men, but reenacted drunk history style by A-list actors. Sam Richardson is in the very first one. It's a lot of fun. It's also a little bit unsettling and creepy because you see how very Florida man-ish the people are who are telling these stories, and you're not sure whether to laugh or cry.
Yeah. I threw in Chicken Nugget because it's on Netflix and is about a woman who gets turned into a chicken nugget at work, and her coworkers have to keep themselves and others from eating her.
Is that is it good?
I watched an episode of it. I cannot say.
All right,
but I definitely went WTF.
So what brought Fallout to your nomination, Amos?
So the entire time I'm watching the show, I'm waiting for it to fail. And it keeps building up, and it keeps adding more.
Waiting to fail was your WTF.
Yeah, and it just didn't, and it just survived the entire time, and all the Easter eggs, everything else. Like it blew me away in how much they packed from the games into the series without it feeling like they forced it into the series, and it had me waiting for it to fail the entire time I was watching it, and it just didn't. So that became the WTF at the end. Like, how did they do that without falling flat on their face? They just did it so well.
I think you picked up on a very key thing in that they were very judicious about not trying to pack everything in there, because if you've played the games, there are so many tropes that weren't even touched upon. But like in season 2, I can see them bringing in the mysterious stranger perk as an entire B plot. The mysterious stranger was like, when you're in a battle, sometimes a mysterious stranger would show up and help you with no explanation. And so that would be perfect for this kind of TV show.
Yeah, there's so much to add, and they shoved so much into the series, but none of it was so in your face that it took you out of the series, and it let the series breathe while also being, if you're a fan of the games, you could watch an episode 3 times and still find new stuff each time. And I don't know how they did it. It's amazing.
Yep. And now, here to present the Killies Award for the biggest surprise, please welcome back to the stage, Amos.
Surprises. Everybody likes them, right? No? Well, too bad. Here's my biggest surprises. The nominees are Silo, Hacks, The Wild Robot, and there's this show Fallout again. The winner is, no surprise here, Fallout.
Yeah.
Fallout also won Best Proof That You Shouldn't Be Afraid of Adaptations tonight.
This is the second award for Fallout. So the fact that it was a big surprise for you, Amos, like, did that, what were your expectations going in?
I honestly thought that it would be a half-assed attempt at, trying to capture some of the spirit of the game, but then it'd have a plot that didn't match the game and couldn't really. When you're watching a game, like when you're watching The Last of Us, it's a rendition of the game. This was something new, and it needed to be an adventure that you could have in the game, but not feel like that, and they pulled that off. They had 3 different plot lines going. All 3 felt organic. They felt natural to the world, and they didn't feel like I needed a controller to move along in the storyline, but it felt like I could have had a controller to play those characters in the stories. And that's an interesting balance. And I think it surprised me because I didn't expect them to do as well as they did, and they did.
And so you
two wins and 4 nominations for Fallout.
What got you nominating Hacks?
That's just personally, I hadn't seen it until we started watching it for After Talk and for spoiling time, and the show just blew me away. Like I had to catch up, so I started from the very beginning and caught up with you guys to watch it.
It starts off so. I mean, it stays strong, but I mean, it comes out of the gate swinging. Especially, and we've talked about this before. If you've experienced any of those aging A-listers in Las Vegas, like that's the real life right there.
Yeah.
Right.
I threw. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Hacks was just a surprise for me. I've seen the previews, didn't think I'd enjoy it, and then you guys were watching it, so I went ahead and watched it, and I was like, "This is lovely." This is.
I just threw Silo in because I was surprised how good it was consistently over season 1. I was expecting a little bit of a letdown. So, I mean, I kind of said that before, but.
Yeah, and I guess I also had mentioned that I very much did not expect the Wild Robot to delight and surprise the way it did, but it definitely did.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you got one more nomination.
Presenting the award for Best Animated Comedy and Fine Dapper Hat Wearing, Professor, Dr., Reverend Tom Merritt.
Who doesn't love to be animated? Possibly the characters in these shows. The nominees are Kite Man, Hell Yeah, Star Trek, Lower Decks, Bob's Burgers, and Bluey. And the Killie goes to A Brave New World, Star Trek, Lower Decks.
Oh! Man, bit of fighting words. So better than Bob's Burgers. By the way, I just put Kite Man because I saw it on several lists, and it was the only animated show that was a comedy that looked good. But up against Bluey, you're gonna say it's better than Bluey?
I am. I'll stick to that. Yeah, because it is a full, rich dramedy, whereas Bluey's fun. But it is meant for kids. It's 50% adult, 50% kids. So it's good at what it's at, right? And it definitely deserved to win Best Cross-Generational Entertainment.
Yeah. Well, and if for no other reason, Lower Decks is quite literally the only Star Trek my 12-year-old knows. And
and it's wall to wall.
Magical.
That's amazing. Yeah. Bob's Burgers, y'all know that I can't shut up about enjoying Bob's Burgers, but it's at a level, right? And it doesn't really rise above that level.
Yeah.
You just had to get Bluey in there again, I guess.
It's just good. I'm sorry. If you need 15 minutes entertainment, there it is.
Returning to the stage for the last time with the nominees for Best Proof That Going In Blind on a Rotten Tomatoes Score is Magic, please welcome Brian Brushwood.
Ladies and gentlemen, this segment brought to you by Spinco's very own Rotten Tomatoes. That's right. When you want the leftovers of a corporate spin out, go to your trusted brand in spinning out companies, Spinco. The nominees for best proof of going in blind on Rotten Tomatoes scores magic are Venom, The Last Dance, Hitman, This Is Us, and Ghostlight. And the winner is Venom. No, just kidding. It's Ghostlight.
Yeah, we almost got a La La Land.
You guys heard me extolling the virtues of Ghostlight. All we did was go in, seeing the score and knowing it was an independent movie that that dealt with, I believe I'm quoting here, dealt with familial grief in a new and novel, funny way. And it's basically a guy who you would never expect to be acting decides to join a community theater and decides to act. He's doing Romeo and Juliet, doesn't know what Romeo and Juliet is. And oh boy, is it amazing when he finds out, given the nature of their family trauma.
That's funny.
It's an incredible movie. The husband and wife and the kid, all three, the actors, are an actual family. And so all of the interactions with them just reek of authenticity. And I already talked about what a great surprise Hitman was. The only reason I saw that was because of its astonishingly high Rotten Tomatoes score. So thank you to Spinco for those. Tom,
I just asked ChatGPT for this one too, and that's what it spit out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I was all ready for, like, why did you like Venom so much?
I actually think Venom is underrated. I really do. I think it's a fun movie, but there wasn't as much thought to this one as there could have been, I guess.
This Is Us was mine. Yeah, it's the only show I went in blind. I hadn't watched any previews, or hadn't really studied it at all. So I just went and watched it. It's not a movie, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there we go. And stick around after the show for the Abandonees with the final Killie. Please welcome back to the stage, Amos.
Just like my appearance here, sometimes it's best to finally get something out of the way. These are the best shows to finally watch. What We Do in the Shadows. Hacks. Detroiters. This Is Us. And the winner of the final Killie of 2024. This Is Us.
Oh, so you really liked it.
Yes, and I'm still currently watching it with the wife, and now that she's here, we can watch it together. And it's really good. Like it puts a bend in situations where it's obviously a drama and a comedy, but everything that they're doing is something you can relate to as an adult with children. Everyone has family drama, stuff like that, and this is all it sparks something in you every single episode, and it's just really fun to watch. Yeah,
it's really well constructed too. That's what I enjoyed about it.
Yeah, it feels like every episode is a cliffhanger. You're like, how long can they keep this going?
Yeah. And they stretch that concept across the entire run in a way that I
three different time periods we're talking about now in the show, and it just and the way that we've them in and out, it's so good. I'm glad I'm finally getting around to watch it. And Hacks, of course, we just discussed, so that was why it was my nominee.
I threw Detroiters in there simply because so many people, mostly Brian and Justin, told me how great it was. And it was one of those where I was like, yeah, I probably will enjoy it. And then one day I was like, well, it's only a half hour and I got time, and I just blazed through it. So it was definitely worth my time.
And my only delay is it was a forced delay on What We Do in the Shadows because I'm watching that with my 17-year-old. But season 6 is delivering the goods.
That's awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending the Killies Awards. Abandonees Awards are awarded in a separate ceremony, which begins right now. Okay, who wants to go first with the Abandonees? There we go. Abandoned.
Yeah.
I went last, so I'll go first. My abandonee goes to Peaky Blinders.
Are they still making those?
I don't know. Season 1 and 2 had me glued to the TV. Season 3 kind of threw a little wrench in it, and I'm still. I think I watched the second episode of season 4 about 4 times, and I just can't.
Oh wow!
I just can't get past that hump, and I don't know what it is. I know there's clips of the show that I've seen from later on that are amazing. I just can't quite get there, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
So,
I'm surprised about The Boys. We were really enjoying it. Eileen and I both. She'd be like, "Oh, let's watch The Boys," and then we'd watch a couple. We'd watch sometimes 2 episodes at a time, and then something happened, and it just got derailed, and we have not gone back. And I'm not saying we're not going to go back at some point, but we just got distracted from it and lost the thread on that last season. Probably like 5 episodes in, I think.
Well, I wonder how much of it is just being fatigued with the reality part. The Boys has always been good at kind of holding a mirror up to actual society, and there's sort of a I don't know, partisan divide, fighting fatigue.
Yeah, I'm sure that's part of it. I'm sure that's a big part of it, but we never really talked about that being part of it. So it was more of a subliminal or subconscious part of it, if it was.
Yeah. My abandonee is, with all affection, What We Do in the Shadows. I haven't even finished, but I am certain that by the time I finish season 6, I will think that was a very good, very, very, very filling bucket of blood I just drank. Thank you, increasingly gargantuan cast of bizarre characters that made up the impossibly complex, fleshed out world of What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
I hope it does look, as we go through season 6, that only now are they bringing up, hey, what exactly is this documentary that they're shooting? And so
I kind of love that they're like acknowledging it finally, like towards the end. That's it. That's good. Well, that is it for the Killie Awards. I hope you like the new format. We certainly had fun doing it. Send us your Killies, cordkillers@gmail.com. And we'll be back in the new year, everybody. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Happy New Year.